Hi, I'm Dr. Mary Barbera, autism mom and board certified behavior analyst. I recently got a question from a speech pathologist on one of my private Facebook groups asking how she could support a family in reducing or eliminating screen time for their 2-year-old with autism who was watching up to 4 hours of TV a day. Before I get into my stance on screen time, I just want to remind everyone that all of our leisure skills are automatic reinforcement. So shooting basketball into a net until you get the score and the baskets, that's a leisure activity, and it's a form of automatic reinforcement. Also, playing the violin by yourself until you can get the right notes and it sounds good, and watching reality TV or reading a book are also leisure skills that are automatically reinforcing. So when we're thinking about a child with autism who lacks language skills, probably lacks play skills, and lacks leisure activities, it becomes really tricky to reduce or eliminate screen time. I remember when Lucas was first diagnosed and he was 3 years old, and we started with ABA therapy, and our Lovas ABA consultant came in, and my husband right away, the first thing out of his mouth basically was, how do we get this Lucas to stop watching so much TV? He's just obsessed with watching Barney, and it's hours and hours a day. And our consultant said something that really caught my attention. She basically said that this was Lucas's form of stimming, and that if we took away the TV without replacing that behavior and that time with some other skill, we might have more problem behaviors and different problem behaviors, because he was going to need to fill his time somehow. So it was either watching Barney, or if we totally, turned off Barney and he didn't have the play skills or the language skills to fill his time, he might start leaving the house, writing on walls with a pen, climbing on furniture, all of things that he did do when he wasn't engaged with something. So she really kind of planted the seed that perhaps screen time wasn't as bad as my husband was thinking it was. And over the years, both as a parent and professional, I see families really struggling with this. And now we're not only dealing with TV, but we're dealing with iPads and computers and iPhones and iPods, and kids in general are watching a lot of screen time. I don't necessarily think it's necessary to reduce or eliminate screen time right away with children with autism before a full assessment and plan are developed, because, like I said, that time will be filled with other things. I've had clients who have very poor leisure skills and no play skills who are rocking or banging their head on hard surfaces. I had one little boy who was only 2 who banged for 3 hours a day and had an open lesion on the back of his head when I first went in. I mean, that's how understimulated he was. And so we can go from that low-level stim to children who are keeping themselves busy, but just repetitively putting straws in a bottle or building blocks repetitively for hours. So if I had my choice between having a child who's 2 or 3 build repetitively the same things over and over again for an hour, or watch an episode of a children's TV show, I'd actually pick the screen time, because I think there's more language involved. There's potentially imitation. There's potentially learning the characters' names. If you can watch TV with the child, if you can engage with them with iPad apps that are developmentally appropriate, that's great too. And I know as a parent, there are times when you have to get things done. You have to get a shower. You have to put a load of wash in, you have to turn your back and cook or do something like that. And you need something to engage your child so that they aren't getting into dangerous situations or doing repetitive behaviors, either motor behaviors like hitting their head or rocking, or repetitive play behaviors that are just going to get them kind of stuck. So I'm not advocating that 2-year-olds watch 4 hours of TV, but I am realistic to know that screen time isn't all bad, especially for our kids with autism, before we can teach them the skills they need to replace that screen time. Hope you enjoyed this video blog, and I'll see you next week.